So as we welcome the people who are doing the recording, I'm just going to mention that we will be using a block for one part of the class this morning, but if you don't have a block, it's not going to be a big issue at all. We're going to make our way over to our mats and begin lying down. So as you make your way to lying back, just notice how it feels. Bring your awareness to feeling the sensation of lying down. And as you lie down on the solid floor beneath you, recognize that solidness, that reliableness. We know that the floor is always there. We can count on it. We can feel that solidness and that steadiness. And just recognizing that is a comforting reality. I mean, we know it. We know that the ground is always there, but just taking a moment and really consciously recognizing that is reassuring. So that stability, that reliability, feel that within you. And as you feel the support of the floor, allow yourself to relax into that support. Relax the muscles of your face, soften the roof of your mouth. Let your shoulders and your belly relax. Let your low back relax. And just take a moment to check in with how you're feeling physically. First of all, physically. How's your body? Are there issues that you've been dealing with that you want to be aware of in your physical body? Notice the parts of your body that are feeling, have some issues, and then also recognize the parts of your body that are feeling fine or good today. And then check in with how you're feeling mentally and emotionally. Because we've been dealing with a lot. And so just with a basic awareness of how you're feeling, begin to breathe deeply. Begin to take a really full, deep breath in and feel the feeling of the breath flowing all the way out of you and emptying and releasing. Take your time. And just focus your full awareness on this now. The feeling of the breath moving in, expanding, and the feeling of the breath releasing and emptying. Just do that for a while. And you bring your full awareness to this act of breathing, fully and deeply. Your mind might want to wander, but bring it back to just focusing on your breath. How does it feel to just focus on your breath, to just feel your breath in your body? Just giving yourself one thing to do and letting everything else fall away. Sometimes this is what we need, to just focus our mind on the present moment, to just appreciate being here now, breathing, lying down, giving ourselves a break. You can continue to just focus on your breathing as you breathe deeply. Or as you're breathing deeply, you might want to consider, is there something you'd want to infuse into your practice this morning? Maybe you want to breathe in love and compassion for yourself. Maybe you want to cultivate patience or acceptance. Maybe you need to be more trusting or generous. Or maybe you need a little more discipline in your life. Or maybe you need something else. If there's something that you'd like to focus on, take a moment, consider, and maybe invite that in with your next few rounds of breath. And if you've been struggling with, meeting your expectations of yourself lately, maybe you just need to offer yourself some forgiveness. So know that you can focus on whatever you need for this next hour. This is our time just for ourselves. So you can breathe in what you need, and it doesn't have to be the same thing for the whole practice. It can evolve. And also know that as you breathe out, it's a nice chance to let things go. So let that full deep exhale be a releasing of all the stuff that's bugging you, frustrating you, overwhelming you. Just let that empty out with your breath. And just breathe like that for 2 more rounds of breath. Okay. I had a reading. I'll save it for the end. I'll save the reading for the end. Let's go ahead and open our eyes and hug the knees into chest and sway a little bit side to side. Great. Sway center, holding your knees, just take them apart, open them up. Let them move a little bit away and then circle them in, hug them in close, open your knees apart, circle your knees around. One more time, hug them in, open the knees out, circle it around. And then as you bring your knees together, just lift your legs up in the air, release your arms at your side, and just kind of scissor your legs a little bit, just a little scissoring motion so that you get a little stretch into the backs of the legs. And then just begin to point and flex your feet a few times. And then circle at the ankle. Just loosen up the legs, the ankles, the feet. And then with your legs up in the air, take a breath in. And as you exhale, see if you can start to lift or curl your hips up. And then release them back out. So we're going to exhale to lift and inhale to release. Exhaling, curling up. Inhaling, releasing. Now, sometimes the tendency is to push down with your hands. So maybe bend your elbows so your forearms are off the floor. And then do the same thing so that you're not pushing up with your arms, but you're trying to lift or curl your hips up as you exhale. So do that a few more times, just starting to wake up the low belly here. Curling the hips up and releasing them down. And curling the hips, lifting and releasing down. Let's just do a couple more. Curling up and lowering out. And last one like that. Great. All right, we'll bend the knees and place our feet on the floor. Let's lift our heads up and clasp our hands beneath our head, letting the weight of the head rest into the hands. We're going to take a breath in. As you exhale, begin to knit your ribs down into your belly and then begin to curl up head, neck, and shoulders. Take your gaze out beyond your knees and then inhale and release back. Exhale, knit your ribs and curl up and then reach your arms forward towards your knees or past your knees and then release back and breathe. Exhale and curl up, knit your ribs, reach your arms out and then release back. This time we're going to exhale and curl up. And then I want you to take one elbow across towards the opposite knee. And rather than thinking about your elbow coming across, I want you to think about those ribs on that arm that's twisting across, those ribs lifting up and moving towards the opposite thigh. And then release back and breathe. So we're going to exhale and curl up and elbow towards the knee, but think about your ribs moving towards your thigh. And then inhale and release back. So we exhale and curl up, ribs towards the thigh. Take that arm and reach it to the outside of the opposite knee. And then inhale and release back. Exhale and curl up, twist, and reach that arm to the outside of the opposite knee. And then inhale and release back. Exhale and curl up, twist the ribs across, and then reach the arm across. And then inhale and release back. Exhale and curl up and twist and reach the arm across. And inhale and release back. Exhale and curl up and twist and reach your arm across. And inhale and release back. A few more. Exhale and curl up, twist, reach across. Inhale, release back. And last one. Up, twist, reach. And as you go down this time, you can release your head down. Take your arms out wide like a T. Take your feet off the floor, knees up in the air. Take a breath in. As you exhale, take your knees over to one side, maybe a quarter of the way, half of the way, third of the way. Hold those bent knees there and take a breath. And exhale them back to center. Let the knees drop over to the other side as far as feels right for you. So the opposite side waist is working to hold the knees there. Take a breath. Exhale to bring the legs back up. We can do this with bent knees or straight legs. Take them over to the side, hold them there and take a breath. And with the exhale, bring the legs back up, drop them over to the other side, hold them there and take a breath. And with your exhale, bring your legs back up. A couple more. Bent knees or straight legs over to one side, hold them there, take a breath. Exhale to bring them back up and over to the other side, hold them there and take a breath. Exhale back up. We're trying to build up core strength and hold them there, take a breath and bring them back up. I was going to say strength and mobility, but we're really just working on strength here. Over to the other side and bringing back up. Nice. Release your feet down and roll to the side. We're going to come all the way around to all fours. Make your way onto all fours. Knees beneath your hips, wrists beneath your shoulders. Spine nice and long. Take a moment and just move in any way that feels nice so that you feel like you're not stiff anywhere. You might move your head, your shoulders, your hips. You might do a little cat-cow, kind of loosen up your spine. So just move in a way that kind of loosens you up a little bit and feels good in your body. And then make your way back to just a nice all fours position with your gaze down between your hands. I'd like you to take one knee lifted up off the mat, and then we're going to start to circle that leg around. So you're going to lift the knee out to the side and back and around. So we're just going to make circles with the knee, and we can do this with both hands on the floor. Or could you take your opposite hand, the leg that's not circling, take the opposite hand and just hover it off the floor as you're circling the knee. So it requires you to engage through your core to keep from toppling over. And the hand might have to touch down sometimes. Can you change direction on that circle of your leg and keep that one opposite arm, opposite hand lifted up? Do that for a couple more rounds. Just stabilizing here. All right, let's put that hand and knee down. We'll do the other side. So you're just going to lift the other knee a little bit off the floor and then start to circle that knee around. And you could do it with both hands on the floor, or could you take the opposite hand and just hover it a little bit off the floor? So you have a little less support from the arms and the core has to work to keep you from toppling over. Let's change the direction of the circle of the leg. Circle it around in the other direction. Yeah, so just warming up the hip here and activating those stabilizer muscles here. Nice. All right. We're going to put that hand and knee back down. Let's curl our toes under now, and we're just going to lift the knees a little bit off the floor. So we're hovering our knees a couple inches off the floor. So we have to use a little more strength in the arms. The legs kick in. Now we could hold just like this, or could you lift one hand a little bit up and put it back down? Lift the other hand a little bit up and put it back down. Lift one hand up and put it back down. Lift the other hand up and put it back down. Keep your knees close to the floor if you can. Continue with these one arm lifts a couple more times. Lifting up, placing back down, adding a little impact so that our muscles and our bones can feel a little more work. All right, let's drop to knees, uncurl the toes. Let's take child's pose. Such a natural opportunity to check in here. We kind of cocoon ourselves. You might probably close your eyes. And it's this invitation to check in. How are you doing? It's an opportunity to really connect with our breath. Again, feeling that breath expanding, breathing in what we're breathing in this morning. And when we're folded over in this way, it's a nice opportunity to exhale fully and really let something go. So take one more deep breath in and out. And then with your next inhale, lift your head up, reach your arms out in front, and make your way to downward facing dog. So in down dog, we want to consciously feel our hands on the floor, spreading the weight out, fingers, knuckles, thumbs. As the hips draw up and back, we want to let our heads relax and dangle. Move your head around. Great opportunity to free up the muscles in the neck and the shoulders by just letting the weight of the head hang. Let's bend the knee and press a heel to the floor. Bend the other knee and press the other heel to the floor. You might look back at those heels going straight back, trying not to let them angle in. Try to get the heels to go straight back. And then let's bend both knees a bit and see if we can draw the hips further up and back with a deep breath in and a full breath out. Do that again. Big deep breath in and a big emptying sigh. Great. Let's walk our hands back towards our feet, dropping our heels down. Feeling ourselves just loose and relaxed here, arms, head, just dangling down. We'll take a breath into the upper back and we'll begin our exhalation and then we'll roll ourselves up. Belly draws in and then we start to stack our vertebrae. Taking some time to articulate the spine a little bit as we eventually bring our heads up. I want you to really solidly feel your feet rooting down, then reach your arms out wide and create space across your chest and back. As your feet root down, I want you to really lengthen and reach up, lift, stretch up. Keep your arms up as you exhale. Your shoulders can drop down. I'm just going to turn towards you. I want you to clasp your hands and have your index fingers pointing up. So as you root down, we're going to reach and stretch up and exhale over to one side. Now breathe into that side that you're stretching away from. And then exhale back to center. Inhale and stretch up. Exhale and stretch over to the other side. And then breathe into that side where you're reaching over. And exhale back to center. Root down, inhale and stretch up. And then exhale and release your arms down at your side. Great. All right, now let's all turn towards our camera. And we're going to work on our balance a little bit. So you might choose to be close to a wall to hold on to. You might choose to have a chair nearby to hold on to. So first we're just gonna warm up the feet and ankles by lifting the heels and lowering down. Lifting the heels up and lowering down. Doing that a few more times. See how high you can go. I know some of us have some issues with our feet, with the bones in our feet, which do weird things as we get older. But see if you can, in any way, use the muscles in your feet and ankles to lift up. You'll feel all the muscles in your legs working as you do this. All right, one more time. Lifting up and lowering down. All right, so again, you might want to hold on to something. We're going to put the weight in one foot and lift the other foot, just hover it a little bit off the floor. And then could you lift that hip a little higher and then bring it down without touching? So lift that hip a little higher and then bring it down. And lift that hip a little higher. And now with that foot just hovering, I want you to bring it a little forward and back in. And bring it a little forward and back down. Bring that leg a little forward and back down. And forward. Now we're going to take that leg out to the side. Take it out to the side and back down. I was reading this article this morning about exercise in different age groups, in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and above. And it talked about when you're young, you can kind of do any kind of workout and your body can take it. Let's take that leg and take it behind. And so as people got older, the recommendations were to basically be more mindful about the work that you do with your body. And then once you got to be 60 or older, it really focused on doing exercise that maintains the ability to be mobile and balanced, because balance is such an issue. Let's change legs. So that's why we focus on this in here, because most of us are 60 or older. Some of us are in our 50s. There might be a few people in their 40s in this class, but I would say our median age is not that young. So focusing on balance, super important. All right, so let's swing that leg. Oh wait, I forgot to do the hip. I'm talking too much. All right, with your foot lifted a little bit up, lift your hip up and put it back down. Lift that hip up a little higher and put it back down. Lift it up a little higher, put it back down, and one more time. Good. All right, let's take that leg out to the side now. So balance means a lot of things. One thing we can do to help our balance is to maintain strength in our ankles, in our knees, and in our hips. Let's go behind. So anything like this, we're working on one leg, we're really challenging the strength of the leg that we're standing on. So good stuff. All right, good job. Put that foot down. Nice work. Okay, let's come to stand at the front of our mats now. We're going to do a little flow. So we're going to root ourselves down. And of course, I have a chair here as a reminder that as we flow, if making your way all the way down and up and doing all this flowing isn't optimal for you, you always have the option to fold and use the chair and just modify your practice here rather than coming all the way to the floor. So use what you have available to adapt the practice to what's right for you today. So begin by grounding down to stand tall. As you find yourself grounded, reach your arms out. Breathe in and reach your arms up. And as you exhale, swan dive forward. Again, that loose ragdoll feeling. Knees are soft, so there's no strain in the back. Arms and head are just angling down. Take a big breath into your upper back. As you exhale, can you extend your spine forward? Maybe fingertips on the floor or hands on your shins. Can you extend from right between your shoulder blades? And then inhale and fold over again. And then bend your knees enough to bring your hands to the floor and make your way back to downward facing dog. Press down into the hands to lift the hips up and back and breathe. Exhale and lower to straight arm plank. Nice and long and strong here, pushing down. As you push down with your arms, with your hands, and you feel your arms strong, can you take a moment and try to create some space between your shoulder blades? Broaden your collarbones, broaden your upper back. Press back through your heels and feel a long line, ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, ears. If you need to drop onto your knees, then that line is knees, hips, shoulders, ears, and that's fine. Take a breath here. We're going to try a little bend in the elbows pointing back. If you need to drop your knees down, that's fine, but try not to let your hips sink as you do the little bend in the elbows. Take another breath. And then can you push into the floor and lift your hips up and back into down dog? Take a breath here. Exhale and lower to straight arm plank. Take a breath here. Exhale, little bend in the elbows. We're going to do that again. Push down, straighten the arms, and lift up and back to down dog. Breathe in. Exhale to straight arm plank. Long and strong, take a breath. Exhale, a little bend in the elbows. This time we're going to make our way all the way down. So you might drop onto your knees and lower your belly, your chest into the floor. Sliding the heels of the hands back a bit, sinking the chest down. Tops of the feet on the floor, toes reaching back, crown of the head reaching forward. Find the space between your shoulder blades, and from there, begin to lift your chest up. And as you lift your chest up, can you start to extend your heart forward so that you're arching your back from your upper back, from between your shoulder blades. So baby cobra, we want to activate the muscles that extend the spine more in the mid upper back rather than the low back. The low back extends quite readily. We want to build up some mobility in the thoracic spine. So from right between the shoulder blades, we're trying to extend, which means arching, lengthening here. And then we'll lower back down. Let's do that again. Inhale, lift up to baby cobra. Extend your spine from right between the shoulder blades. And then could you lift your hands up? Can you lift your elbows up and hug them in towards your midline? Yeah, nice. Then release your hands, release your chest. This time keeping the hands down. We're going to start with that extension in the mid upper back in baby cobra, and then you could press down and come up a bit more, and you'll probably feel more extension into the lower back here. And then we'll lower back down. Let's push up to knees, curl the toes under and lift the knees, and lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. We'll breathe in and out here. Let's look a little forward and walk our feet up. We're going to plant our feet beneath us. And let's sweep our arms out. Inhale and rise up. And we'll exhale, arms down at our side. Again, we'll root down, inhale and reach up. Exhale and swan dive forward. We'll bring our hands to the floor and step back to downward facing dog. And take a breath in here. Exhale and lower to straight arm plank. We'll take a breath in here. Exhale and lower all the way down to belly. And from here, I want us to come up onto our forearms. So we're going to measure fingertip to elbow, elbow to fingertip, so that we get the elbows right beneath the shoulders. And then we're going to slice the arms out in front of us. Let's push down with the forearms to lift the chest. We'll curl the toes under. We're going to lift the hips. And we can come up onto our knees, or we could lift the knees up, coming into a forearm plank. So we can be here, knees up or knees down, and we're going to do stir the pot. So we're going to try taking the hips to one side, lifting them up a little bit, taking the hips to the other side, coming center. Do that again. Stir the pot from the pelvis, circling out and up and around and center, out and up, around and center. Let's go the other way. Circle out and up, around and center, out and up, around and center. 2 more times. Last one. And then just push down, hold that plank, take a breath, and then release the knees, release the hips. Release the chest, elbows wide. Let your head rest on your hands. Let everything relax and take a breath. Breathing in whatever you're offering yourself this morning and letting your exhale be a letting go. All right, let's bring our hands back and we're going to push all the way back to child's pose. Just going to take a moment here in child's pose to let the spine round or flex. And then lifting your head up, reach your arms out and make your way to downward facing dog. Breathe in and out here. All right, we're going to start to make our way into a lunge. So there's an option to drop to your knee and step your right foot out in front, or you can lift your right leg up in the air. Breathe in, bend that knee, draw the knee up and in, look forward and step through to lunge. Either way, we all arrive here in a low lunge. All right, let's push into the front foot and bring ourselves up. You might put your hands on your knee first. Make your way to a lunge position with your hands on your hips. Square your hips to the front of your mat. And as always, if you want to have a chair nearby to hold on to or something, just use what is important for your practice. So can you bend into the front knee and really press into the front foot and then push that foot down to straighten the front leg? Bend into the front knee, push that foot down to straighten. Couple more. Bend into that front knee, push the foot down to straighten. And last time, bend, push down to straighten. This time we're going to bend the knee and keep it bent. Think about the energy of the knee and shin going forward and that same sitting bone drawing back. Let's press back through the back heel and begin to lift the heart up. Drop your arms down, reach your arms out, inhale and reach them up. Big breath in as you stretch up. And then we'll exhale our hands down to the floor and step back to downward facing dog. You could kneel and then go back or just go straight back. Breathe in and out here. And then the other side, you could drop to the knee and step the left foot forward or lift the left leg up in the air. Bend that knee, hug it up and in, look forward and step through to lunge. Meeting up in a low lunge here. And then pushing that front foot down, we'll rise up. Bringing hands to hips, square your hips to the front of your mat. Bend into the front knee, press into the front foot, and push down to straighten the front leg. Exhale to bend the front knee, push down, inhale and straighten. Exhale to bend, push down, inhale to straighten. One more time like that, bending, pushing down, and straightening. This time, bend that front knee. Energy of the knee and shin going forward. At the same time, that same sitting bones drawing back. Press back through the back heel, lift your heart. We'll drop our arms down and reach them out and up. Shoulders lift, ribs lift. Big breath in as we stretch up. And we'll exhale our hands down to the floor and step back to down dog. Nice. Breathe in and out here. And as you exhale, lower onto your knees. We're going to stand on our knees. And if you're on a hard surface, you might want to put a blanket under your knees for sure, because we're going to put all the weight on one leg. So we're going to step one foot out in front, maybe the right foot. And let's get that heel beneath the knee or forward of the knee. And you can move it more forward if you like as we go. We're going to put a little weight in the back knee and shin and start to let that front knee move forward. So as we're doing this lunging, this kneeling lunge, we're going to get a nice big stretch in this back leg. Sometimes this can dump into people's low back. So fire up your abdominals a little bit here. Engage the belly a bit for support. As you let the weight move into the front leg, And we can drop pretty deeply if that feels right for us today. And then we're going to push back. So we're going to bend into that front knee and let that back hip move forward. And then we're going to push back. All right, you can continue just bending and pushing back, or you might choose to bend and then lean down. And if it feels right for you, you could try lifting your back foot off the floor. And you might just want to put it back down. Or if you're up for a big stretch into your front of your thigh, you could reach back for that foot. You could press that foot into your hand, and you might reach the other arm forward and lift it up. Keep some tone in your belly. Don't let this all just drop into your low back. Push the foot into your hand. Take a breath. And then you can release that foot. We're going to push the weight back. We're going to do that all on the other side. I'm just going to turn. So you're going to step your left foot out in front now. And your foot, your feet are hip distance apart here, your knee and your foot. So we're going to start to bend into that front knee. And how does that feel? And then push back. You can put a little weight in the back knee and shin to create a little more action in this back leg. You can fire up your abdominals a little bit here for some support. So how does this feel to drop forward? Most of us are pretty tight in our hip flexors. Some of us are tighter than others. We could all use a little stretch there, I'm sure. But some of us may not be up for this really deep, intense stretch. So you decide. As you're leaning forward, you might keep going front and back. You might lean down, bringing your hands down. You might try lifting that back foot up. And maybe you just want to lift it up and put it back down. Or maybe you want to lift it up and reach back for the front of that foot. Push the foot into your hand and maybe lift the other arm up in the air. Belly is firing. Foot is pressing into your hand. We're going to take a breath in and out. And then we'll release that back foot. We'll push the weight back onto the back leg so we can kneel on both knees. And let's take child's pose. So dropping back onto the heels, rounding over legs. Bring your feet, your knees fairly close in so that your spine really rounds over your legs. Support your head in some way and just connect with your breath. Use your breath to support you in this practice. And after your next full release of breath, with your next breath in, lift your head up, reach your arms out, make your way to downward facing dog. Find your breath here. And then let's again walk our hands back towards our feet, lowering the heels down, folded over bent knees. Take a breath here. As you exhale, bend your knees and lower your hips. Bring your hands to heart. Keep your hips low, lift your chest up. Reach your arms forward and sit back into a low chair. Take the arm closest to your camera, sweep it down and behind you. Inhale and open into a twist. Exhale, sweep that arm down and forward. Take the other arm, sweep it down and behind you, open into a twist. Exhale, sweep that arm down and forward. Sitting back in your chair, reach your arms up toward the sky. And then push into your feet and legs. Inhale and rise up, reach up. Exhale your arms down at your side. Great. Let's turn towards the camera. This is where you might use a block or you might use a chair. So I'll just show you so you can kind of, eventually we're going to go here and then we're going to go here. So if you think it's going to be better for you to do that from a chair, you don't need a block. If you think you're ready to try it with a block, grab your block, step your feet apart. Let's turn the right foot in and turn the left foot out. And you can just for now put that block behind your ankle of your front foot. Okay, so let's put our hands on our hips. Let's really get this back foot planted, pushing down. We're going to bend this front knee and we're not going to allow the outer edge of that foot to lift up, the back foot. Keep the outer edge of the back foot pressing down as you bend into this knee and see how deep down you want to go. And then push that foot down to straighten the leg. So we're going to bend the knee, push down to straighten. Keeping the outer foot pressing down in the back leg. This next time we'll bend the knee and keep it bent. Let's just start with our hands here. And I want you to slide them out like you're sliding on top of a surface until you broaden all the way out from your center out to your fingertips. Your hips stay low, but your spine rises up tall. Take a breath here. Exhale this back hand on the back leg. Turn the front palm up. Inhale that arm up. Back arm slides down. This top arm reaches up. Yeah. So we reach up. We'll take another breath. And then come back to Proud Warrior. Let's lengthen up the spine here as we breathe in. And we'll exhale and tip over, bringing that bottom arm on the bottom thigh. We'll reach the other arm up here. And then let's reach that arm forward, sweep it around and overhead. Thumb up, pinky down. Then let's roll the belly and chest towards your device and reach along with that top arm. Take a breath in. And then exhale that arm back down. All right, hand on your hip. I want you to push this front foot down and begin to straighten this front leg. And as you straighten that front leg, you can bring your hand to your shin, or could you find your block? So you might not get this front leg straight, but work towards getting it straight. And then take your hand that's on your hip, reach that arm forward, and then open that arm up toward the ceiling. Press down with your bottom arm to reach up. Take a breath. Then take that arm that's in the air, bring it forward. Start to rotate your chest towards the floor. You might need to angle this back foot in a bit more. We're going to bring this arm down and we're going to switch the block to that hand. So now that hand is on the block and your chest is turning towards the floor. And if you need to angle the back foot more, go right ahead. Take your other arm out to the side, parallel to the floor. And could you rotate the chest around to face the opposite wall? Press down to reach up. Take a breath. And then come back down. All right, we're going to bend into the front knee and push ourselves up. We're going to turn the feet forward. And we're going to go all the way around to the other side. And for now, just set that block behind your ankle. Then get your hands on your hips. Really plant your feet. Press them down. Keep the outer edge of this back foot pressing down as you bend your front knee, as you push that foot down to straighten. We're going to bend the knee and push down to straighten. Couple more like that. This time, let's bend the knee, keep it bent. Bring your hands to center and then just slide them out wide, broadening out from your center. Hips stay low, spine rises up. We take a breath. We'll exhale the back hand on the back leg. We'll turn the front palm up. We'll inhale that arm up and slide the back arm down. Big breath here. And then let that top arm come over, begin to tip over. And take the other arm up. Take a breath here. And then bring that arm forward and then sweep it overhead. Thumb up, pinky down. And then roll the belly and chest towards your camel. Reach long with that arm and take a breath. And then sweep that arm down. Place that hand on your hip. All right, we're going to start to straighten the front leg. And as that leg starts to straighten, your hand can come onto your shin or grab onto your block. As you start to straighten that front leg, take the hand on your hip, reach it forward, inhale and reach it up toward the ceiling. Triangle pose. Take a breath here, reaching up, feeling your feet pressing down. And then bring that arm forward and start to rotate your chest towards the floor. We'll start to bring that arm down. You might need to angle your back foot more. Take the block and switch it into that arm that just came down. Orient your chest towards the floor. Take the other arm out parallel to the floor, and then begin to rotate and revolve. This is revolve triangle. Reach that other arm up toward the ceiling. Take a breath. And then let that arm come back down. We're going to bend into the front knee, push ourselves back up. Nice work. Bring your feet forward, and we're just going to walk our feet together. Nice job. All right, we're done with the block. Or no, we might use it again. I'm changing my mind a lot today. Make your way all the way down to the floor, and we'll see what we do with the block. The next thing we're going to do is lean back on our hands and take our feet wide. So your feet are wider than your hips. Begin to roll onto the sides of your feet, dropping your knees to one side. Bring your knees up. Roll to the other side. Bring your knees up. This time roll all the way around and bring your knees down. That arm from behind, let it come up. Okay, I'm just going to change my position so you can see this better. So your knees come down, and you're going to have the front foot kind of by the back knee, right? You got one foot in front, one leg behind. This foot, you see, yeah, move back a little so you might see better. This foot is on top of that front knee. All right, so now this back hand with for the back leg, I want you to bring it around, and I want you to press into your front knee. So this hand that's like the back leg is pressing into the front knee. This other arm, we're going to come down onto the forearm. All right, so you're on this forearm. This hand is going to grab the knee, and the knee that's on the floor that you're holding onto, I want you to start to push that knee into your hand. And as you're pushing that bottom knee into your hand, take your back hip and kind of roll it forward. So you're rolling forward, you're pushing your knee into your hand, and your hand is resisting. And what you should be feeling is some action in that bottom hip, in the hip of that knee that's pushing into your hand. So the strength of your arm is resisting as your knee is pushing into your hand, your back hip is rolled in, and you're feeling some action in that bottom hip, ideally. You know, it's a lot of instruction. I hope it's making sense. So keep pushing the knee into your hand and take a breath. And then ease off on that. Push yourself up. Start to bring your knees up, lean your arms back, and then we're gonna swing the legs to the other side till they come all the way down, and that arm from behind can come up. So again, I'm just gonna change my position a little so you can see me better. So this front foot is kind of above the back knee, and this back leg arm is gonna come all the way around to hug the front knee, and then you can come onto the forearm on that front side. So now this bottom leg that you're holding the knee, you're gonna press it forward into the hand. And as you do that, take your hips and kind of turn them more toward the floor. So your hips are turning down, your knee is pressing into your hand, and your hand is resisting. And what I wanna do is create some action in that bottom hip, right? Some action, some strength, some mobility into the muscles of the hip on that bottom leg. You're pushing in with your knee. You are resisting that pressure with your hand. Take a breath. Right. Ease off. Push yourself up. You can lean back and bring your knees up. And then you can bring your legs and shake them out a little bit. Okay. Since we have a block, and this, you don't have to have a block, but if you have a block, I want you to put it sideways, and we're going to sit up on the block so that the block is right under our sitting bones. I like sitting up on a block to twist because it gives us a nice awareness of our sitting bone. So as you're sitting on this little surface, if you rock front and back or a little side to side, can you really connect with the feeling of those two sitting bones? And can you root them down? Imagine roots growing down from your sitting bones, down into the block, down into the ground. And that sensation of grounding down often just kind of automatically creates a little more lift or length in the spine. And I want you to cultivate an awareness of this line of your spine because we're going to rotate around that. So feeling that line of your spine, let's take the right hand behind. We're going to take the left arm across. Try not to veer off that line. Keep that line of your spine. Root down and breathe in. And then exhale and start to twist to the right. Twist around that line of your spine. Ribs, chest, shoulders, head. And that right hip bone may have revolved around, but I want you to think about bringing that right hip bone back in line with your midline so that you're not twisting your low back. You're just twisting your mid, your upper back, and your head and neck. And then take a few deep breaths here, in and out. Really great opportunity to exhale fully here and release tension in the body, stress, whatever you're ready to let go of. Breathe it out fully, deeply here now. After your next full release of breath, begin to unwind yourself back around. Once you're centered, again, root those sitting bones down. Feel the line of your spine. Take your left hand behind. Take your right arm across. Begin to spiral around in that direction. And what you may find is the hip twists the most, but could you bring your hip bone back towards your midline and let most of the twisting action come from your ribs, your chest, your shoulders, your head and neck. And then once you're in this twist, you're going to breathe deeply. And I feel like a lot of us are holding on to a lot of fear right now. There's just a lot of fear in the world right now for so many reasons. And we don't want to hold on to that. So if you're feeling fear, here's a chance to let it go. As you breathe out, release fear, apprehension, worry, stress. Breathe it out of you. And after your next full release of breath, you can release back around. All right, make your way off of your block. We're going to start to transition to our final relaxation. So if you want one more movement to feel a little more ready for your final relaxation, offer yourself that. As you make your way to lying down, make sure you're warm and comfortable. So you might want some socks or a layer. You might want a pillow or a blanket. Whatever you need to be warm and comfortable, go ahead and offer that to yourself. And then make your way to lying down. This really important part of our practice. This part of the practice where we let go of a need to do anything, a need to be any particular way. This is our opportunity to let ourselves drop into our most natural state. Almost as if we're asleep, but as relaxed as if we're asleep, only we're awake. So we're just going to let go. Let go of any need to hold on in any way. Let go of any need to do anything. And just allow the body to soften, settle, release, and relax. We've primed ourselves for a deeper state of relaxation through the breathing and through the muscular engagement. So we've created the conditions that allow us to relax deeply. And now we just allow it to unfold. Layer by layer, little by little, the body relaxes. Legs relax, feet relax, arms relax, hands relax. The low back relaxes as the floor supports it. And the whole belly can soften. We hold so much tension in our gut. So invite the gut to unclench, soften, melt, and relax. As if the navel could just melt into the floor. We hold so much tension in the shoulders, in the muscles that surround the heart. Just feel how the heart drops back into the floor. Allow a sense of spaciousness, openness in the chest, in the front of the chest, and in the upper back. Feel how the head is supported so the neck can relax. And feel how your facial muscles are soft, smooth, and relaxed. Rest here. So you're welcome to continue lying back, or you're welcome to start to transition back to sitting. I'm going to share a reading with you from Melody Beatty. She says, "Are you feeling powerless? Have circumstances taken a turn you don't like? Do you feel there's nothing you can do to make today better? One power that's always available to you is the power to love yourself. Sometimes we feel powerless, We have circumstances in our lives we simply cannot change, no matter what we do to create something different to move the situation along. We can't get another person to behave differently. We can't seem to change something at work. We can't do much about our situation, at least not at the moment. Nothing in life seems to be going our way. It's not that we're doing anything wrong. We aren't off our path or neglecting a particular lesson. The energy of this time in our lives is frustrating. There's no action we can take to change our circumstances. All we can do is surrender to the circumstances, accept what's happening, and stay in the moment. During those times, there is one action we can take that will help. We can love ourselves. When we can't do anything about the world around us, when we can't even seem to do much about ourselves, we can always, always love ourselves. When all our other powers seem stripped away, we can practice the power of self-love. It's one power that no one can take away. Self-love will always make things better. And perhaps when a difficult time has passed, you'll look back and say, that's what I was really learning all along. The ever-present healing power of learning to love myself. So I thank you all for being here this morning. Feel free to take a few moments more for some quiet reflection, some gratitude practice. I appreciate your presence and your practice. Thanks for being here. Have a good day.